Welcome to the second episode of Fireside Tech Talk here at Thermax House. And today I have a very interesting guest with me, Mr. Pawan Mehndiratta. And my name is Nishaanth B. I'm your host for this podcast here today. Mr. Pawan, it's such an honor to be here with you. You're a veteran in the space, but you're heading the green hydrogen business here for Thermax. And a lot of us have heard about green hydrogen, but very little on the ground. I think there's been a lot more noise than action in green hydrogen. It's a very interesting and exciting space. So as Thermax, where you have a large portfolio of services and products across your business and houses, why green hydrogen, and how are you bringing what Thermax employees call Thermax's integrated systems approach to the green hydrogen business?
So green hydrogen is extremely important from the perspective of net zero, and it is a tool which allows hard to abate industries like refineries, fertilizers, steel, ammonia to decarbonize. It's in fact so that's the way these these hard to abate industries will reach to net zero. As Thermax, we have been now there for 60 years, and what we have brought to the table is going to various industries and offering them not only solutions but really integrated services and solutions, which include right from supply of products, manufacturing, to extensive operation and maintenance of these products. And now we have modern tools like Edge Live, which bring the complete preventive maintenance to these customers. Given this background and given the fact that green hydrogen is a similar business which requires integrated services and solutions for customers to be able to extract the maximum value, it was a decision which Thermax made to get into this green hydrogen.
Wonderful. Let's go to the core piece of the entire green hydrogen value chain, which is electrolyzers. There is no green hydrogen without these electrolyzers these days. So at Thermax, share with us, what are you doing on the electrolyzer front? Unpack the technology for us, and tell us a little bit about why the technology choice when it comes to electrolyzers matters a lot for customers.
So you asked a lot of questions. Let me break that up. Electrolyzer is a simple piece of equipment conceptually. You have a DC current and in water, which is normally with a electrolyte like potassium hydroxide, and it splits hydrogen and oxygen at the anode and the cathode. So effectively very simple. But then it's a piece of equipment which is very integrated, and that's where the complexity of efficient production comes in. Really speaking, the systems approach to an electrolyzer is extremely important for customers, and I'll talk more about that as we go along. But to your answer about the choice of electrolyzer technology, see, essentially there are a few kinds of electrolyzers. The first is alkaline, the next is PEM, and lastly is the solid oxide. The alkaline is a very mature technology. It has been in existence for the last about 60 years. And many of our customers whom we serve in India have actually been using this technology in one way or the other in chloralkali or many other areas. So alkaline is a mature technology. PEM is a technology which is on paper it is better, and let's say more fast responsive, lower footprint size, but then it is based on a solid polymer membrane. That's the core of a PEM electrolyzer, and you do need noble metals and etc. which make it today a more expensive choice than the alkaline. The third technology is a solid oxide, which is really an emerging and a very promising technology. It utilizes heat at around 600 to 800 degrees centigrade. This higher reaction, this higher heat, so the reaction happens at this elevated temperature, which makes the efficiency go to much higher levels of around 80%. And it's an emerging technology. It can be a game changer for several industries. And therefore, the choice of technologies that we have done is for alkaline and solid oxide. So really, as Thermax, we want to be in a place where we are providing solutions to the customers rather than products. So that's why we have taken a multi-technology approach, alkaline for the current market needs, because it's a proven solution. It's something that customers would like to get into and get the reliability, and once you get into a multi megawatt kind of a situation, hundreds of megawatt, alkaline is the best solution today. But then as we go along, we see solid oxide playing a very vital role. And therefore, we have taken bets on both these technologies to offer to customers.
Now, I have two questions from everything that you said. First, for all of them who are here listening to us who are not from this space, tell us a little bit more about the alkaline electrolyzers that are in the market. You said they're 60 years old, but you said you're developing your own. So, because of the surge in green hydrogen, the adoption beyond chloralkali industries, is there a need for these alkaline electrolyzers to be adapted, or you need to make some adjustments, increase efficiencies? Whatever you're trying to do with whatever you're developing in-house, you can give us some insights on that first.
We are not developing in-house, so to say. We have a tie-up with a very experienced and company, Hydrogen Pro, and I'll talk more about that company. They are a Norway-based company, and they have a proven alkaline product which has been already proven for large industrial applications. Hydrogen Pro has provided electrolyzers for 2 among the 10 biggest hydrogen projects worldwide. Their products are meant for industrial scale, and the important thing is that they meet all the international safety standards. And not only that, they are engineered for an efficient and safe operation on a life cycle basis. So that's the reason why we have partnered with Hydrogen Pro. And Hydrogen Pro has partners which include Andritz, Longi, and Mitsubishi, all global companies. And they are working very closely with these global companies and doing projects with them. So the fact that we have Hydrogen Pro working with these global companies is bringing all that global experience into their product. Now, on the last question which you asked me about how are we adapting the Hydrogen Pro solution to India. So what we are doing is that we are working very closely with Hydrogen Pro to address some of the very important requirements of the Indian market. And I would like to give an example here. The market of India will largely be for refineries and fertilizers to start with, and then it will expand to subsequent areas. We see a requirement of a 30 bar output pressure for the alkaline solution. So what we have done is that we have finalized a joint development program which will be supported by Thermax, for which in fact now we are setting up a test bench to kind of test out certain parts of the 30 bar solution. So that's a joint development which we'll be doing along with Hydrogen Pro, and we hope to roll out the 30 bar solution in a couple of years' time. So a lot of Indian requirements are being discussed and structured and initiated and taken forward with Hydrogen Pro in this collaboration.
What are the real advantages of an alkaline system, and what are the real advantages of an SOEC? Of course, you've mentioned the heat aspect in SOEC, but what else do you see? What about turn down and turn up ratios in between both of them?
I think every technology has its positive and every technology has its negatives. So, and I said alkaline will find its own place, own applications. The solid oxide will find its own applications. So, for example, solid oxide has a distinct advantage of utilizing the low grade heat, and I say low grade. I don't mean a 700 degrees heat, it means a 150 to 200 degrees heat in refineries, fertilizers, steel, to come out with an efficiency which is 25% lower than the current efficiencies of alkaline. But then of course it has its own challenges in terms of the capex, which we are now trying to bring down effectively through a multi-megawatt development of the solid oxide. Alkaline, on the other hand, is a solution which is currently available. It is it's suitable for the current applications. Yes, but however, for alkaline, what we are trying to bring to the market as Thermax is not just as an alkaline product, but rather as an integrated alkaline solution, which also supports the life cycle support, which is very critical for a 20-year operation, which most of the developers need to now target for the projects that they are signing up as developers.
Well, Pawanji, alkaline water electrolysis is something you said existed for 60 years. You are looking at developing this as well. So it's clear that because of the legacy, there's a near-term opportunity for alkaline deployment. When it comes to alkaline, apart from what I just mentioned, what other advantages are there? Why is it the go-to technology today? And why are you, betting on this for the near term?
Alkaline is a technology which we believe is a mature technology. And especially as we see customers now planning for projects which require hundreds of megawatts. And obviously they need something they can bank on. In view of that, we see alkaline as a mature technology which can be a good solution for the projects of today and the developers who are looking to set up bankable projects, because that's what is important for them.
Pawanji, the projects of today are very cost competitive, right? They have beaten all estimates by all the leading agencies. So how are you addressing that? How are you making your product and your integrated, offering to some of these developers cost competitive?
See, when you look at some of the other competitors and other solutions, on paper, they might seem effective, they might seem lower cost. But if you really look at the bouquet of the entire solution that we are providing, which includes lifetime maintenance support, which includes the fact that we will continue to provide the latest upgrades to the electrolyzer technology as and when they come, the fact that we will be doing online maintenance monitoring through our Edge Live, providing a continuous spare support, making sure that the electrolyzer is always running at its most optimum level. From an LCOH point of view, we see that the overall solution that we provide will be a far effective and a much competitive solution than what is available in the market today. I'm very confident of that.
So you're talking about a lot of subsystems. You're talking about, helping these developers through engineering, commissioning, giving them, your digital monitoring system that I think Edge is. Tell us a little bit about Edge Live as well, Edge Live.
So Edge Live is
it a proprietary?
It's a proprietary solution, and it is a solution by which we monitor the key equipments which are there with customers. It could be boilers, it could be heaters, chillers, or any other such systems. So what we are So how does Edge Live help you is in the following ways. A is that you could get the parameters of the subsystems. If you talk of an electrolyzer plant, it could be the electrolyzer, the rectifiers, the hydrogen purification system, the converters, etc., etc. So all the live parameters you get at a single place. That becomes a basis to evaluate the current performance and look at how the current performance is vis-a-vis the predicted performance. And so you can really benchmark, and then we at the back end can provide advice to customers as to why and how the performance can be improved by looking at those dashboards. And then you have an advanced analytics, and you can actually look at how the systems are performing. And that's why you do the predictive maintenance rather than doing a maintenance which is, so you know, for example, where the equipments are headed, are they degrading too fast, what needs to be changed, what needs to be, and that becomes a very important tool for to decide upon how you need to change some of the spare parts, whether you need to prolong them. You know, in certain cases, the spare parts can be prolonged. You need not actually, or in certain cases, if you find the performance is not good, you can go ahead and change certain critical pumps or parts, which will help you boost the efficiency. So it's a complete bouquet of services through analytics, and we are also bringing some elements of artificial intelligence into that to kind of help the customers have their projects performing at the peak levels.
So this is not just a set and forget operation. You're constantly with them, but I can clearly see in what you've told me, you're leveraging your experience across 60 years in other products and services to help with continuous monitoring, reducing, turnaround time for parts, etc. So you are giving quite a holistic offering to your customers. Pawanji, earlier you spoke about Hydrogen Pro and how they've been part of two of the largest projects in the world and how they're working with several other players globally as well. So you're bringing this global expertise, but you're also combining this with your local understanding and expertise. And it's not just your local presence and market, recognition, but you're also bringing in an integration of different systems that go into, hydrogen production before and after, the electrolyzer piece comes in. So if you could speak a little bit more about how you're integrating systems at Thermax.
That's a very important question, Nishaanth. And let me speak about that in a little detail. If you look at the electrolyzer system, you need to integrate it with, number one, a water purification system. The electrolyzer requires an ultra pure water as an inlet, and that's a very important part of its performance. At Thermax, we have been handling and purifying the water of different parts of India, and you would not believe it that different parts of India have very different kinds of water purity. So we have been doing it, and so that's one piece of integration. The other is the integration with the DC power. Grid has AC power, but then you need to feed the electrolyzer with the DC power. So the fact that you need to convert an AC to DC and have the right kind of conditioning, and again, it has to be specific to Indian conditions. So that's another integration that is critical. Hydrogen purification system. At Thermax, we have actually developed our own hydrogen purification system, and we'll be offering it as part of our integrated solutions. So this is again a very important integration required. Integration with renewable energy. You need to have an electrolyzer which is responding to the variable renewable energy needs. So again, you need to integrate it with a control system which is able to monitor and kind of regulate this load, which is again an integration which we are taking care of along with our internal capabilities. So in a way, the entire electrolyzer success depends upon how successfully you integrate these auxiliary systems. So, and that's where, as Thermax, we have been doing this for 60 years. We we have been offering integrated solutions for our products and services. We don't supply just products and services, we supply integrated solutions. And that, for me, is the key to success for any electrolyzer to run trouble-free and in an integrated fashion.
I think you've given us a lot of perspective there, because for most of them who are not on the project side, they think it's connecting wind and solar with an electrolyzer and producing hydrogen. But you brought about the complexities in hydrogen purification, in the water that goes in, but you also emphasize that in different parts of India, the water content is different. But would you have to adjust your systems to temperatures and local environments as well? And is that something you're studying?
Absolutely. In the last 3 or 4 years in India, there have been a few electrolyzer installations of small to largely in the smaller capacity. And what we have done is that we have actually interacted with customers who have installed these projects. And what we have found out is that there is a need for a localization of the solution. And many of these electrolyzers have faced problems because the solutions have not taken into care the local conditions and requirements. And we have a task force, a team which has actually done this very detailed study, and we are incorporating all the need of a local requirement. So what we do is that before we actually give a solution to a customer, we spend a couple of months in trying to understand the local conditions, the requirements. Our team goes to the site, looks at various conditions, and then only we kind of offer this integrated solution.
Now, Pawanji, you touched on a lot of these subsystems integrations. Now, that also demonstrated how complex electrolyzer operations are and how they integrate into the project. Let's speak a little bit about heat recovery systems. I think there's a lot of heat being generated in these processes, and you also emphasized on one of the technologies being more efficient when it comes to high heat applications. So perhaps if you could speak a little bit about how Thermax is viewing this and how are you looking to improve efficiencies and help adaptation across several industries.
If you look at the alkaline solution, the efficiency is around 60 to 65%. Most people don't know this, but about 25% of the heat, the balance is 35% if I minus 65%. 25% of that gets wasted as heat.
Just dissipated into the atmosphere.
Just dissipated into the atmosphere. So we do have solutions to capture that heat and use it either for chilling or for some other applications, or even for the water purification. So that effectively will bring down the efficiency to a much higher levels.
Interesting.
So this is an option which we believe that Thermax is best placed to offer, given the fact that we have the products and solutions for capturing of the heat, and we are working with customers actually to give this kind of heat integration, and customers are very interested to look at this very unique option.
Pawanji, you had mentioned about the 3 different types of electrolyzer technologies. You're looking at 2. You've already given us an overview of the advantages and some of the efficiencies, when you compare one with the other. Now let's dive deeper into this SOEC technologies, right? SOEC itself is new, you've mentioned that, but you've chosen this, right? What are some of the primary reasons for you to choose this? And if you could give us some deeper perspectives on SOEC.
Green hydrogen is a tool to decarbonize the industrial segment. And industrial segment like steel, fertilizers, refineries have a lot of low-grade heat and steam available. And SOEC is a technology which leverages and uses this low heat steam to give an efficiency which is a game changer, 25% lower efficiency or a 25% better efficiency than alkaline and PEM. So that's the game changing aspect of solid oxide. And we think it's going to play a very important role in the near future. And as Thermax, we are a company who is very much into heat integration. it gels with our DNA, so to say, and hence we have a decision to launch into it and develop it as a viable product for the near future.
So you've also emphasized earlier, and all, should I say, with a lot of pride about your partners, who make all of this possible. And for alkaline, you're partnering with Hydrogen Pro, and you've hinted that you're partnering with Cirrus Power on your SOEC technologies. So perhaps you can tell us a little bit about why Cirrus Power, and what do they bring to the table that you're, able to integrate into Thermax's capabilities?
Oh yes, we took almost 1 year's time to decide our partner, right partner for solid oxide. We evaluated multiple OEMs, and Ceres stood out as a company which is having a very deep R&D expertise. I was amazed to see the kind of R&D setup, the test benches, the infrastructure they have when I went there. And not only that, see, they have a metal supported low temperature solid oxide technology. For solid oxide, it's the durability and the degradation is a very important factor. And we strongly believe that they're lower than the normal solid oxide temperature profiles which you see across OEMs. They are at around 500 to 600 degrees of temperature, and it's a metal supported technology. That aspect we believe is a game changer in terms of reliability and durability and degradation. So these two choices, these two facts about them being a very, very impressive deep tech R&D company and the kind of technology they have, and the fact that we could agree on an approach where Thermax would take the lead for the system development and the multi-megawatt scale to the whole cooperation and our joint efforts in that direction. I think these were some of the very key factors that we went along with Ceres as our partner for the solid oxide.
So there's a big element of thermodynamic efficiency in this conversation with Cirrus Power and around the SOEC itself. So perhaps if you can dive a little bit deeper into that and speak a little bit more about how, again, you are using your breadth of experience and integrating it into these industrial systems and the larger decarbonization space as well.
The perception is that electrolyzers is about stack. But what I would like to say here, and especially for solid oxide, is that there's so much happening outside the stack. You need to integrate the heat of that 600 degrees reaction properly. You need to cool that. You need to have heat exchangers. You need to have a proper mechanism to capture that heat, purify the hydrogen, etc., etc. So it's a complete system level which becomes very, very critical, especially for the solid oxide, to be able to perform efficiently and truly as a system and as a technology. And that's where we are playing a role, and we are jumping into a complete system design and system engineering and integration. That's the role we are taking, and that's what we believe will bring success to this scaling up a stack from, let's say, a small scale to, we have an ambition to scale a complete solid oxide electrolyzer system of 5 megawatt plus. So that's where we are playing a big role. And Thermax is not a stranger to this. It has been replicated and proven successfully across many other disciplines, including for boilers, water treatment, how we have successfully brought the technology, integrated and scaled it.
I think that's a big lesson for me, and a standout in our conversation is the fact that electrolyzer is not simply a product. It's about integrating, and it's the larger systems and the impact that it has. Now, when it comes to SOEC and your integration with industrial systems, Tell us a little bit more about how this gives you an advantage when it comes to e-fuel production.
Very important question. E-fuels is going to be a very important part of the decarbonization efforts for the globe. We have already seen the initiatives even from Indian government for certain mandates which are going to come in for the SAF and for the aviation fuels and for the e-methanol, etc. And SOEC is in fact a very effective tool, especially for the e-fuels like SAF and e-methanol, etc. Because it can capture it can also be a tool for capturing the carbon in the system. And so I think SOEC will play an absolutely stellar role in the e-fuels in future, and that's where we also want to position SOEC as one of its very important applications.
In this new generation of e-fuels and new energy systems, there's a lot of emphasis on improving efficiency, recovering heat, like you've emphasized in these partnerships. Now, coming to standards in SOEC, you very aptly highlighted Hydrogen Pro and their compliance with global standards and recognitions. Now, when it comes to SOEC, are you doing the same with Ceres Power? Are you also co-developing these standards and supporting policies and standards in India?
We have a pilot project which we are planning for the solid oxide. And as part of the pilot project, we did a very deep safety analysis of the pilot project and kind of the HAZOP analysis, the hazard analysis, and we involved several other stakeholders from outside Thermax, some good companies. So a complete deep diving into the kind of safety systems, the safety procedures or the distances to be maintained, for example, the kind of vents to be given, the kind of control valves required, alarms required, everything was done in a very big detail. We are developing the systems for safety, the procedures for safety, the codes for safeties along with Ceres. These would be different from the alkaline, and therefore we are actually participating with Ceres in trying to co-develop these safety systems.
So you've hinted upon your pilot scale effort on this. Clearly, Ceres is one partner now. Are there more conversations with other partners? Are you looking at other experts to come support you in your larger ambitions of integrating systems into industrial applications?
So I think let me talk a little bit about the pilot project first, because that's a very important part of what we are trying to, how we are trying to industrialize and scale up the solid oxide. So we have a pilot project which is at our within our premises in our offices in Pune, in one of our energy house, we call it. It's in Pimpri Chinchwad, and this pilot is a 500 kilowatt pilot. And this would involve the complete integration of the stacks with the auxiliary systems and the heat integrations, etc., which are required for the operation as a solid oxide 500 kilowatt system. It's a first of its kind efforts, and we are already in the construction phase of this pilot. Again, the purpose of this pilot is to really get the stacks integrated with the balance of plant, balance of systems, with the heat integration systems. And also there are many first of its kind components we are using here. And this also involves partnership with several companies and a few other international companies who would be jointly participating with us for this project. And we'll be having many the first of its kind projects and components like which would be developed and proven here. And for that, we are working with several international companies who would be supplying the first of its kind heat recuperators, the DC-DC converters, etc., etc. So the purpose of this pilot is to actually completely prove out not only the technology, but the subsystems and the components which will be used. And once we prove this in this pilot, the same components and design would then be scaled up to a bigger 5 megawatt SOEC system, which we intend to offer on a commercial basis by, let's say, 2028 is our target, but we hope we can do it before that.
No, what is very beautiful for me to get from your conversation is that you're not just partnering with these companies, but you're adding value back to them by improving efficiencies, trying out new paths, and also bringing in your expertise. Is that true? Or is Ceres and Hydrogen Pro learning as much as you are learning from them as well?
I think it's a journey of it's a journey where all of us are learning, all of us are working together, and I can tell you the discussions are very intensive between the teams. There are frequent visits of Hydrogen Pro and Ceres to us and us to them. And many times we even visit customers together to understand what the market needs. And there is immense learning across all of us. So we are very happy to share to our collaborators about our experiences, about our FOAK products, which they can offer to global projects and global customers. So they are equally learning as much as we are learning from them. And what has happened is, I'll share with you that over the last, with Ceres, we have had a collaboration now for more than a year, and for Hydrogen Pro less than a year. But in this period, we have taken a journey from being, from having a collaboration agreement to being joint partners, and jointly now working together, and that joint development and collaboration is increasing every day. Because we realize that we are good in, they realize that we are good in many things, and we realize that, of course, as OEMs, they are masters of certain things, but it's the coming together of, and the cooperation is increasing every day, and we are becoming more and more as joint partners taking the solutions to the market.
No, I truly believe that in this emerging green hydrogen system, ecosystem, we need partnerships like this to make it work. And I'm glad you're humble enough to share that you're learning from them as well. And I'm glad that they are learning from you. And another element that I've taken from this conversation is you're not looking to develop something for India. You're looking to build something that will be globally compliant and help the larger ecosystem as well.
Yes, of course, we do intend to start from India, but then hydrogen is a global market. It's a global field. Of course, our first few projects will, of course, be for the Indian market, Indian customers. But then, yes, the overall picture is a global picture which we are looking at.
And just to wrap up this conversation on SOEC, you told me it's at an early stage. When do you see large-scale commercializations happening for this technology?
Customers require it today. If I go to a customer and if I tell him, look, I have this solution, and please, he will be happy. The customers are looking for solutions. And that's where, as Thermax, we are accelerating this. So our 500 kilowatt pilot should be commissioned by end of the year. And definitely once that is done, we'd love to have customers visit that plant. But I think we need to get to that stage. Once we do that, we hope to be able to roll out a 5 megawatt plus a solid oxide electrolyser module by 2028. We hope it can be earlier than that, but that's definitely, it will not be later than that. And as far as alkaline is concerned, I think I spoke about already we have a proven solution. We are working on many more things for joint developments with Hydrogen Pro. I spoke about the 30 bar solution. We are working on many more things, how we can improve the operations. So that will be a continuous development as we go along. We as Thermax are not only just focusing on the technology, but we are bringing many related aspects which we believe are critical for offering a solution to customers. Aspects such as integration of the subsystems, then offering many value-added solutions like heat integration and other integrations which are critical for operations of electrolyzers, like for example hydrogen purification system, the AC/DC charging system, and the robust control system to take care of the renewable energy profiles. So I think this is the value we bring to the table. And as we develop these technologies, we are working with the partners, we are also taking them on board to really get very specific solutions which India needs. And these have to be, we cannot have global solutions dumped on India. Understand the local regulations, the needs of the national green hydrogen mission. There are incentives available from center and state, but those are based on certain criteria, certain requirements. So, and once you look at that, it flows backwards as to how your technical solution, the integration should actually be structured. So I think the whole aspect about the integration, the localization, making sure that the solutions meet the needs of the Indian customers, and the fact that we are there to support on a life cycle basis, on the O&M, on the edge life, on the spare parts, availability of spare parts. For example, we would be available 24/7 to customers for any technical support. We would be available for commissioning of the plants. Any support which the customer requires, we would be available. We are just a phone call away. So all that integrated system support, system level solutions, the 24/7 support, the life cycle support, is something that is core to our solution to the customers.
Looking at Thermax's 60 years of legacy and looking at what you're doing and specifically what you're leading within the group, where is Thermax headed?
We at Thermax are very proud to be the partners to our customers for the energy transition which is taking place. And it is not just green hydrogen. Across several areas of energy transition, be it biomass, be it methanol, be it e-fuels, be it compressed biogas, be it renewable energy. I think we are looking to partner with customers to support them in their journey for energy transition. So that's the core of Thermax, which we are working towards.
And it looks like it's a serious commitment to climate change and negating negative effects. And clearly, you're emphasizing that Thermax is a partner for energy transition and not simply services for electrolyzers or green hydrogen. And I'm also quite happy to hear that you're looking at the entire breadth. It's not just hydrogen and ammonia, but it's also e-fuels and integrating these systems into industrial ecosystems, beyond all of the fuel productions as well. For me and for you, green hydrogen is here to stay, although it's too early, and we are at this cusp of change within our sector. I can see that you're committed. So perhaps if you could emphasize a little bit about the commitment that you have towards the sector.
Yes, we are here to stay. We are a 60-year-old company, and we are here to be with our customers and be part of their journey, be part of their problems, be part of their solutions. and as we build our solutions, we will look at how we can support them at an overall solution level rather than at a product level. We have tools like Edge Live to support them on a life cycle basis. We look to partner with them not only for a supply of product, but how we can support them through O&M, through continuous technology upgradation, through various other value-added solutions, and we are here to stay. So we will remain with our customers if we have supplied a product. We will remain their partners to make sure that the product is performing as an asset through the life of the whole product and not just, let's say, for the initial level. So once again, I say that we are here to stay.
Mr. Pawan, this has been an incredibly insightful conversation, not just into Thermax, but I think there's a beautiful connection between your career and what Thermax is doing as well. And I want to wish you all the best into all of these endeavors that you're leading. And thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. It's been a real pleasure for me. Thank you so much for this discussion.